This is not what a rivalry should be about. And it's not how it should be remembered.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in Maize and Blue Review. Good afternoon, Michigan football. I'm Dennis Fithian. Happy Halloween! We get ready to get things underway on this last day of October. That was Michigan Athletic Director Warde Manuel after the game on Saturday. And I got bad news for Warde Manuel. They have played 115 Michigan and Michigan State games over the years. And this one is always going to be remembered. It doesn't matter who you are out there watching, what age you are, listening as well. For as long as you live, you'll remember the U of M MSU backyard brawl for better and for worse of 2022. We'll talk about that. Jim Scarcelli, the former Wolverine, will join us coming up. Scar's got 100 plays, maybe not that many. He's got a lot of plays, some film analysis to get to. We'll go position by position. We'll get into what happened on Saturday afternoon, Saturday after the game. Jim Harbaugh this afternoon had his normal news conference, Monday news conference. Harbaugh saying that there's a camera, ABC had a camera in the tunnel that gives a better, I don't know, he didn't say bird's eye view, but that's what I'm saying, bird's eye view, some more clarity on some things that transpired, the things that transpired in the tunnel. So we'll see if anything more comes. There's been 4 players that have been suspended. We'll see if anything more comes of that film that Harbaugh talked about. 2 Michigan players, and Jaden McBurrows and Jymon Green, charges being pressed, and we'll see where that goes. We'll see if Green is going to be available to play Saturday. Not sure as of today if that's going to happen or not. So that's where that sits. I sit back. It's Monday now, Monday afternoon, and I still got a bad taste in my mouth, and not the game. I mean, the game, I'm not spitting because of Michigan winning the game 29-7, or them having to kick a lot of field goals. I think in a lot of ways it was a really good game for Michigan. They're poised and in the perfect position, in the exact position that they want to be in November, undefeated and playing for a Big Ten championship and playing for a national championship. So this is a lot of good things going on with the Wolverines when it comes down to that. I mentioned it is Halloween. Why don't we go ahead and wish everyone out there a happy Halloween. Michigan is 8-0. And let's get to him now. Let's talk to Jim Scarcelli. And here he is. Scar, how you doing?
Oh, man, we are just fired up, Danny. I don't care what happens when you beat your rival. It's a good day. There's going to be some a lot of good stuff going on in Ann Arbor. The guys will be fired up, getting ready for Rutgers. And we're rolling. 8-0. We are at a 20. So a friend of mine just texted me this. We are 20-2 in our last 22 games. That's the best run since 97, 98. 20-2. That's we are looking good.
That sounds good to me. Let's take a look at exactly what we'll be talking about today. You got the Paul Bunyan Trophy back. We'll hit on that. We'll look ahead to Rutgers. Scar has been fabulous with his pick of the week. He's got another one, an early pick of the week for you. We've got the film analysis, which has been both educational and entertaining, going through all the different plays that Scar selects. But we will start looking back to Saturday and talking about the game. And, you mentioned it, if you're just saying, like, hey, Michigan's 8-0 now, they're here we are on Halloween. Now we're ready to flip it and get into November. This is what it's all you can ask for. If you can ask for other things that you'd like to see to perform a little bit better, but you want to be 8-0 heading into November with a chance to play for everything. And there Michigan is. So from that part, it's good. But I don't know, there's still the part about Saturday and the aftermath that has it's left it gives Michigan State a black eye. It gives everybody a bad taste in their mouth. How are you? It's different processing it, but here we are on a Monday. It's been a couple of days. If you just push that, you're just like, forget it, move on. You're not ready to talk about it anymore. You're done with all that. They've had a few players suspended here. I mean, how are you looking at it?
You know, Denny, I'm looking at it as a guy who was a former player, and then I'm also putting my head coaching hat on again, and I'm looking at, you know, how does Jim want to handle this? You know, you obviously you listen. We are an 8-0 football team playing for a championship, so he addressed it. He let Ward address it. I like the way they both talked at the press conference right after the game. But at the same time, now you got to start to get you got to get your team refocused on our goal of winning a championship. So it's been addressed. Mel Tucker, I appreciate what he's done. He's on it. The Michigan State leadership is on it. The Michigan leadership is on it. The investigation is continuing. We're going to continue to get more information. 4 players have already been suspended. I have faith in the system. It bothers me as a guy who played there and never had any trouble with that tunnel for 5 years. Never. I remember walking up and down that tunnel before in warm-ups where, you know, guys are coming up and down different, you know, it was just, we didn't even think about it. And you hit on it the other day about culturally, you know, what's going on, man? Why do we have to get in guys' faces and do these things? You know, there was a high school game in Metro Detroit a little while back that they had to cancel the game and bring it back the next day to finish it up with no fans. You know, we hear that stuff with Little League kids too, you know, and I talked about it last year. You know, our young kids see they see our pro athletes. You know, there was an NBA superstar. He made a big 3-point shot, and after the game winning shot, he's running around, you know, grabbing his cojones, mocking the fans. And the kicker for that beat the Lions last year, he makes this kick, and he's running around the Lions fans, mocking the fans. Like, who teaches that? And then we, as Little League, middle school, high school coaches, we got to clean all that mess up, because the kid's going to say, well, I saw it on Sunday. And then it carries over into why we have these problems. So it's discouraging, but I think our leadership is handling it. And that's where I'm at on it, Denny.
Yeah, and on a big picture thing, it's like, you know, you can say, well, look at how nasty everybody is on social media. And you look at, you know, politics and the way that everybody's, and you look at, you know, the two sides of the pandemic where people can't, you know, they still can't, you know, talk about a shot and whether this was good or that was good. And, you know, even families, my own family, you know, people aren't talking with each other because of the situation from the last 2 years. But thing is, those things, they're not going away. They're here. So you do have to deal with it. You know, you say all of that. And even this week was promoted as hate week. And you say, well, you know, but it's promoted like that. And people get nasty and they do all these things. But the majority of those people, you go out on a Saturday and walk around on the golf course, or you'll go up to Michigan State next year, and almost all of those people, they're tailgating with one another. You know, they're wearing a Michigan State, a Michigan shirt. They're standing there sharing a drink, you know, hanging out, and everybody's having a good time. And, you know, it's just, it happens, and then you have to deal with it. And then just like, you know, with everything, you're hoping people are learning from these things. They played 115 games, Michigan to Michigan State, and this one will be remembered forever for what happened in the tunnel. So the coaches, you know, they do their job with the players. It's not like anybody's going to stop, the showering recruits with praise and acting nasty towards, like, that all still going to happen. So how we all learn from it and move ahead and, you know, try to avoid those kind of things. I mean, that's it. It's not going away. So you deal with it, and, you know, let's see if we can come out the other side better. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like our big time wrestling used to be the loudmouth, disrespectful stuff in it, but we knew it was a joke, you know, and it seems like that stuff is getting into, you know, real sports. But I remember the one time I was on a team that lost to Michigan State, and I remember I was in tears in the locker room, and I never thought about, taking it out on somebody. But anyway, hopefully, they get something figured out there, and that, because I hate to see them have to create another entryway into the locker room. But we need to focus. Jim needs to get that team focused on Rutgers, and we got big goals, and we can't. And it's getting back into that bunker. You're always going to have outside things, and it's once again he has to get them focused on getting ready for Rutgers.
Yeah, big goals and big rings to be had. So, yeah, he'll focus that in. We can talk about Jim Harbaugh all day long. One thing, there's a lot of things that Jim Harbaugh does well. He's really good at keeping his team with what's going on with the task at hand. So I'm pretty confident that way. I mean, we can talk about Redzone, all these other things, but Harbaugh is really good with his team and getting them focused in on today and whatever the practice, whatever they do today on a Monday, and getting ready for the game week, and heading out to New Jersey and Piscataway. I feel pretty confident that he'll have them ready to go on Saturday night in New Jersey. They won't play for a trophy against the Scarlet Knights, but they were able to get Paul Bunyan's trophy back, and they've got a few of those trophy games that they play for, and they were able to get that one back. What did you think? Of whole thing, being able to celebrate and put the sunglasses, the buffs on Paul Bunyan. What did you make of all that?
Denny, it gets back to the same thing we're talking about with the tunnel, though. Again, I'm just some old boomer out here talking, right? But it gets back to the same mentality. When I played, the equipment managers, they were in charge of the Paul Bunyan Trophy, and it would be exchanged between the locker rooms. And it wasn't paraded and shoved into the face of the opponent like sometimes it is, with that can escalate. What sometimes ends up being taunting. It might be, but it was more of a respectful transition. And that's if I'm Jim Harbaugh and Mel Tucker, I'm like, you know what? Let's start making this transfer in the locker rooms with the equipment guys the way they did years ago. And it's just one of those things to bring down the temperature a little bit. I know the fans might like to see that kind of stuff, the helmet on the guy, but that's my take on these trophy games. I remember the brown jug too. That thing is so old, Danny. That brown jug is 100 years old. And I remember our equipment guy saying he didn't want anybody to smash it up, dropping it, because it was literally 100-year-old deal. And the same thing with the Paul Bunyan Trophy. It's an old thing, but I would make the transition.
How about backing things up from there and make the transition a little bit cleaner? But you've got the players were out milling around at midfield, and Michigan was waving bye to them. Before that, you had the final play. The teams, it's not like they were shaking hands when the game was over. They were right in each other's face. Previous to that, on the final drive, Michigan could have just run the ball, but they did go to the pass, which could upset people. Blackledge had mentioned it. That's not what he would do. So you could put that in saying, hey, that's not classy. That's not the way things should be done. If they were throwing into the end zone, I could say, even though I wouldn't have a problem with that, usually how things transpire out on the field, I don't care. I don't care if somebody's beating some 15-0. If you're out there, it shows as much disrespect if you're running the ball. But do both teams, does Michigan need to look at how they're doing everything, backing it all the way up to that final drive, or even before that? Social media, do you not want the players so telling them after the game or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, the throwing, there's something there to run the double reverse pass. There's something, and we don't listen. I know as a former coach, there's relationships I have with. I got 9 games on the schedule, and there might be 3 guys I really like and respect them, and I'll talk to them. There might be 3 other guys on the schedule that are kind of like whatever, we don't talk. It is what it is. And then there's 3 guys that you might really don't want to talk to, or you really have a problem with. Maybe they ran the score up on your JV, or they ran it up on you in the past. And so sometimes those things come back, but there's something there with Jim and Mel in Michigan, and it's there. Let him. I don't want to speak for him, but to do that, there's something there. Now, hopefully it'll be asked at the press conference today to explain the double reverse pass when you're, late in the game. Like, now I understand 3rd and 10 throwing a deep pass. I get that part. Okay. But at the same time, Danny, I've been in that situation where you're up 20, 30 points and you run the ball and now the guy scores on your second string kids. And now he's going to onside kick down, 20 points with 3 minutes left. So what's ethical? Is it ethical to throw deep, 3rd and 10? Is it also ethical to go onside kick when you're down 20 against the second string kid? So, but there's something there with Michigan and Jim and Michigan State, and I'll let him speak for that.
Yeah, well, you can make the argument like they're going to have tomorrow. They'll have the college football playoff rankings, and if Michigan ends up being number 5, I mean, like everybody's like, hey, they always argue about, well, look at this team, and they were playing that team, but a lot of times you do just look at the score, and if you could tack on another 7 and prevent the other team from getting one, a 14-point swing even late, those kind of style points that the rest of the country could be looking at. When it comes down to the end, it doesn't matter if Michigan wins all their games, but coaches might just be like, look, I'm looking to get a big number as I can, and I'm looking to keep them down as far as possible. When it comes to Jim Harbaugh, though, who knows? It could be last year's game. It could be his time as a coach against Michigan State, of him having a losing record. It could go back to when he was a player and going up against Michigan State. It could come back when his dad was a coach and all of that, playing against Michigan State. It could come back to what Bo had to say about Bert Smith in the 70s. It could go back to the 50s. I mean, Harbaugh's involved in all of that. So it might, who knows what he's thinking about when he's like, you know what, the hell with it. There's no reason when I'm out there to take the foot off the gas, so I'm going to keep smashing it down. I don't know. Maybe he promised the team that they were going to run this play at some point in the game, and then he wanted to fulfill his promise. I mean, I could sit here and come up with a million things about possibly why he would want to do it, but when it gets down and you start thinking about, the matchstick, where it actually, a combustible situation when it all happened, I don't know. If he doesn't do that, do the players at the end of the game, are they just shaking hands? Is Michigan then not waving bye-bye to them? Is, State not, there's the bottom line to all of it, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to, even though they will separate the players. Obviously, they should have learned, the Michigan staff and game day staff should have realized that after Penn State. And I know they mentioned it a couple times during the game that there was going to be, that there was beefed up security and all that, but a couple Michigan players, were able to, go up there with the Michigan State players. That shouldn't subject them to being harassed and surrounded, and then
I agree, Denny. I agree.
So all of that. People are looking if you're on the Michigan side, but that is the bottom line. You shouldn't, with everything that's in there and everything that happened, swinging helmets and attacking players in the tunnel. Obviously, I mean, that's not something that can happen.
Yeah, let's just hope it gets solved and we move on here.
Yeah, I don't know about getting solved. Can they take some measures and work on that?
Danny, I want to make one last a comment, because I kind of touched on it the other day, because there was one of our callers asked about, Scar, what's your level of satisfaction? How sad? And I want to reemphasize this to Michigan fans, how tough it is to win this football game. I don't care what the point spread is. I don't care what's going on. So I make no apologies. I am totally 100% happy and satisfied with this Michigan victory. When we get done here, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to have my Michigan shorts on. And there's a guy that's a Spartan, and he's a Michigan State guy, and I'm going to wear them darn shorts with pride for a year. This team, Michigan State, focuses everything on beating us. I talked about it the other day. Their defensive scheme, Denny, believe me, what they do on defense, I don't think they focus on stopping Ohio State. They want to know what Michigan's doing. I've been a head coach, and I know that you got to beat the number one dog on your schedule. So sometimes you do a lot of things schematically with your program to beat that guy. So we beat a team that gave everything that they had to stop us. And I am totally satisfied. And I want to thank our players and thank our coaches. And I don't even care about red zone problems. We won. We ran the ball. We defended them. We made a couple of mistakes, but I want to thank our players and coaches, and I just want to re-emphasize, Denny, my thoughts on that. That I am 100% satisfied with our effort as a former player about watching what our Michigan program did Saturday.
Let's run through, you say you don't want to talk about the red zone. I wanted to make a comment on that, but I want you to run through the different position groups on Michigan and where you think they sit as they get into November and heading up to the Rutgers game. As I was watching all of the NFL games, including the Lions, who got out to the big lead and then gave it up against the Dolphins, every time a team got into the red zone, I start thinking, okay, well, what's a good red zone play? Well, if it comes down, and people don't like to hear this, like, hey, if you can get down in the red zone and your line's blocking really good, you can smash it and you can run it in there, and you that's the name of the game, being able to make plays in big spots. In the red zone, down on the goal line, on third down, the big moments in the game, the red zone, it does become, it's good to actually, prior to that, when you're not putting, to be able to move the ball to actually get yourself in the scoring position. That's nice. And yeah, the cherry on top, or even more than that, is being able to, you always want to get 7 instead of 3s. But the executing down there, finding the play, I found it interesting over the last couple of weeks when Michigan ran the ball. It's like they got to get more creative down there. And then when they went to something like the shovel pass, you had you're over there and you've got the analyst that's on the game. So Joel Klatt was like, they got too cute when they, so is it getting too cute, or are you being predictable? That's the thing. Like, you're either getting too cute or you're too predictable.
Denny, listen, this is the question you face it's the same thing in, I worked for Tom Monahan, same thing with the pizza business. You can have whatever pop you want as long as it's Coke, out of simplicity. The same thing we do as football coaches, the same thing. Do you want to be complex and have a bunch of stuff and be okay at a lot of things that give problems for the defense? Or do you want to be real good on a few things and get multiple repetitions where your players are really, really good at execute? So that's the decision you're faced all the time as a football coach, both offense and defense. So let me just say this: red zone offense, you want to be able to stress the defense in all ways. It's really no different. You want to be able to run the perimeter, throw all corners of the end zone, inside runs, outside runs, quarterback keeps, shifting, motions, all the things that we did. And I'm going to draw up a play that Michigan did on the goal line they hadn't run all year that created confusion for Michigan State. So that's the dilemma. And listen, Michigan State, this guy adjusted really, really good. I mean, I looked at what Michigan was seeing in a lot of our formations, whereas last week I was drawing it up and I was just licking my chops at how the Penn State defensive coordinator was misaligned so many times and giving our team advantages. The Michigan State guy was like, man, this guy's smart. He's not giving us schematic advantages like old Manny Diaz did. So hats off to Michigan State to some respect to making things difficult for us down there.
Well, yeah, and block and make the catch and make the throw, and you'll get better at the red zone. And you're right about the opponents. I know heading into Ohio State, Iowa during the bye week, and I remember looking at the red zone efficiency, touchdown efficiency. Ohio State was right up there with Clemson at number 1, and they had gone, I don't know, whatever, it was like 38 trips, and they had 36 touchdowns. It was just unbelievable. I mean, they're getting into the red zone, boom, touchdown. So they go to Iowa, they got 3, 4, 5 times that they get into the red zone, and they got to kick field goals, or they throw an interception, and suddenly that red zone touchdown efficiency completely dropped off the bottom.
What do you attribute that to, Danny?
Opponents are going to come. It's one of these things week to week. It's what we do as fans. I mean, we're going to analyze the games, and you're going to look at all the different numbers and trends and everything. You can say, man, Ohio State gets it down on the red zone, and they are money. Well, they haven't been the last 2 weeks. They haven't been money. And, Michigan field goaled Michigan State to death, but that doesn't mean that they can't get better and they can't work at a few key plays. And when they do play Ohio State, sure, being able to get down there, drive the field, protect the ball, all the million things that we talk about during a game. But yeah, turning some of those 3s into 7s, those sound like, those would be some of the things to talk about heading into a game against Ohio State for a chance to go to the Big Ten championship game and maybe the college football playoff. But yeah, like every game that I'm watching, every time a team got into the red zone, yesterday I'm looking, I'm like, you know what? Josh Allen, he was in the red zone. He was facing a 3rd and 14. And you know what he did? He ran the ball, smashed down to the 1 yard line with his great run at 6'5", and put his elbow right into and went down, on the 1 inch line. Then he rolled out, was able to find the tight end and some like push pass in the back. Yeah, that wasn't creative or anything. You know what it was? Josh Allen is a great football player, and he made 2 great plays in the red zone, one running it, one scrambling, and then freelancing the ball in there. Great red zone execution, by the Bills last night against the Packers. It's like, hey, the Packers got down there, the one touchdown that Aaron Rodgers threw to Dobbs. He turned around 3 times, made the most unbelievable catch. The defender was stripping his arm, and it was like, this kid has had a rough time, Dobbs, the rookie wide receiver, but it was like, there's some red zone execution if they were in the red zone. It was, make plays with your big time playmakers, and that's how you can increase your red zone touchdown efficiency. Did he need to be more creative with the play calling? I guess that's what it's getting back to. I don't. It's they look to me like they're not always going to the same play. They're not always trying to smash mouth the ball into the end zone. Sometimes they throw it. They have done some different creative things, and they've got too cute. Having their top players make the big plays, that's what it's going to come down to. So that's all I have to say.
Denny, it's the fine line between being creative and then overwhelming your team mentally, because then you're going to yell at, then that same analyst who never coached is going to also say, oh, why are they making mental mistakes out there? Those kids don't know what they're doing. Well, it's because we're trying to be creative, Joel. We're trying to put a bunch of stuff in.
Well, Joel has played. The one thing about Blackledge when he was
did he coach? Did he ever coach and have to make those decisions about?
No, you're good point there. But Blackledge, at least when he was asked, like, it's not really what you want to hear from an analyst. They're like, what can they do? And he's like, I don't know. That's what he said. He's like, I don't know what they can do.
At least he was honest that time. But it's different when you're the guy that has to teach kids to execute all this different stuff. I had a coach at work with me. He wanted to, he watched games on Sunday and he wants to put all these plays in. No, man. My thing was always, if we haven't repped it, at least 100 times, we're not putting it, we're not running it in a game. We got to rep it before we put it in and have the kids try to do it. Because then you can't blame the kid if he hasn't repped it enough. So I understand being creative, but at the same time, you got to be good at something. You have to rep it a few times.
All right, I said I wasn't going to say anything more about it, so I'm not. Let's go to some of the position groups. Tell me which position group you're looking at.
Denny, I'm going to give you my quick analysis of where we're at on offense and defense. Okay. I think the Michigan offense is better than it was last year because of one reason. I think it's better, and it's J.J. McCarthy's legs. J.J. McCarthy's ability to take a play that's broken down and make something out of it. His ability to step up in the pocket, get the first down, get outside the pocket, the RPO game with the quarterback keep. He's playing great football. I want to know who our backup quarterback is. I hope this week we can get up on Rutgers like Minnesota did, and we can get our backup some work. Having a reliable backup, Denny, can help our play caller be more aggressive in a tight game if we want to run JJ, but we are getting good quarterback play. Who's the backup? The running backs, everybody sees Corum is a Heisman Trophy candidate. Edwards is getting better. He's got to be a better pass protector. I want to see the third kid in there. We got to get another guy ready because Corum's leaving. Stokes has got to step up. I want to see the third running back. The tight end play. Schoonmaker is an all Big Ten, possibly all-American tight end. The kid is he's outstanding. The freshman Loveland is getting playing time more and more. Bredesen is getting more playing time. He's a receiver. Loveland is going to be a big kid. Bredesen and Loveland, they got to block better, but they're young guys. They got to get in the weight room. Honigberg, 84, is a solid blocker. He's doing a good job. He gives you exactly what you thought you'd get. Our receivers, I think, Ronnie Bell and Coach Joe. Ronnie Bell has been a reliable kid. They're great blockers. We block. Our receivers block. Roman Wilson didn't get much attention the other. They didn't throw the ball to him much. Angelo Anthony, we're not seeing much, but we're getting great blocking from our receivers. I think our offensive line, Denny, is playing really, really good football. Hayes is a lot of those guys are all Big Ten caliber type players. Barnhart has jumped in and stepped up there at the right tackle, and he's done a good job. We haven't seen other than those 5 guys, but that's my take on the offense. The scheme has been great. Our coaches are doing a lot of different things to give problems to the defense, and our players are executing. Go ahead, your thoughts on the offense.
Yeah, like you get to this point, and I'm going to do something that I tell people not to do, but there's things like, you'd like to see more explosive plays for the receivers and the passes down the field. We say it so much that it gets pretty repetitive while Michigan's winning. But you're talking about wanting it all, and where Michigan's at right now, and they're playing so well. You do think about them playing Ohio State and then beating them. You do think about what if Michigan played Alabama and Georgia. And these are legit. A lot of times those aren't legitimate thoughts, in other years. But, now it is. So you do think of that. And it reminded me, I think one of those, and it's fair if you say, hey, you said you weren't going to talk about this. You're an idiot. That's fair if you say that. I think the one play, and I think it was a third down, I don't think that McCarthy or Michigan or the play call, I think they thought that they could pick up a first down, and it was a goal-to-go situation because they threw the ball. They ran the routes to like the 4 or 5 yard line. They threw the ball to the 4 or 5 yard line, which really had very little chance. Like the receiver wasn't on the move. He sat down at the 5, and McCarthy, they made the catch. He was like saying first down. I think that they I don't know if it was the coach or if it was McCarthy or the play call or whatever, but I think they thought they had a chance to make a first down. But I like your analysis of the position groups. Let's hear what you have to say about the defense.
Defensively, what do I got on I think our edge play, we played 6 edge players. And there's not a huge difference. Some of them are better against the run. Some of them show a little better job rushing the quarterback. And it looks like the coaches understand that. I think they think Harrell is a better run player. Morris appears to do a little bit of both pretty well. But we're playing 6. The young freshman is in there. Moore has played. He was in there real early. So I think we're getting good play. We did not rush the quarterback very well Saturday. A little discouraged with that. Oki was getting a lot of playing time to rush the quarterback, and he was a non-factor. But I'd say that edge play is, we got a lot of guys. I'd say it's good, and it's good enough to win a Big Ten championship. Our defensive tackle play was outstanding. I think those 2 guys, again, I said it early in the year, as a position group, I think our defensive tackles are the best in the Big Ten because we got 2 really, really good ones. And Jenkins and Mozzie Smith are really, really good. And the freshman, Graham, is solid. He's a guy that'll be a solid player for many years. And Benny got in the game. And those are the only 4 guys that played. Benny got in, got some reps. I want to see another guy get reps. So it's good to see 4 guys play in there. But we're getting real good play there at that position. The best in the Big Ten. I think our linebacker play, Junior Colson is a darn good football player. And I think sometimes in the media, he doesn't cover this guy or that guy. They ask him to do a lot of things, Denny. What we do defensively, to play linebacker for Michigan, what they ask him to do, this guy has to take on big 300-pound tackles and guards and tight ends, and then he's got to run with running backs. And I'm really impressed with them. They asked the guy to do a lot of stuff. Michael Barrett is really playing well. He's a fast, smart kid. He's where he's supposed to be. He's in his right gap. I think our linebacker play is good. And then in the secondary, Page he's a good cover guy. He's where he's supposed to be. He's really improved. Jim talked about his improvement. Sanistrol is a big physical kid. Rod Moore is a good physical safety. Johnson's good. And Green, our coverage is good. And the thing I would say about our secondary, and I think our overall defense, Denny, is we do a lot of stuff. And we ask these kids mentally to do a lot, to be able to do a lot of different things, because we want to be creative on defense also, right? We just got done talking about being creative. And in order to be creative, you got to have smart kids. Because if you're going to overwhelm them with a bunch of stuff to give the offense problems, well, then you can't yell when we have mental breakdowns. We had one mental breakdown Saturday, and it cost a big play. But, I think our position group at D tackle is the best. Danny, comparing to Michigan, the receiver group at Michigan State is better than our receiver group. I'm going to say that. We just win against a receiver group with 0 and 1. I don't think we're going to face two better receivers. Maybe Ohio State has two better, but we got to do a better job, I think, finding a kid like Zero. We got to get a guy like that. You talk about giving separation and giving our quarterbacks a chance, but anyway, defense is smart. We're smart. We're well coached, and a lot of guys doing good things.
Yeah, we'll see if Smith and Jigba comes back from Ohio State, teamed up with Harrison. Yeah, I mean, Ohio State's got a lot of wideouts there. If I'm talking about the defense, and you're right to talk about Mozzie Smith and Chris Jenkins, they were there all game long. Taylor Upsaw seemed like he showed up a few times in the second half and made some big plays, and we hadn't seen him maybe making that. Maybe it was his best game all year long. But if I talk about from the first half to the second half, Jymon Green, it didn't seem like he was getting his head around quick enough. I know there was some arm fighting and hand fighting in there with the receivers, and people wanted, but those things to me, you see that every game you watch, being able to hand fight and push off. I mean, it's going to happen every single play. Those officials are not going to call them every single play. So you got to fight. You got to do everything. You got to be so perfect. You're out there on an island. You got to turn your head. But in the second half, those guys were fantastic. One play late that they made. But, Rod Moore looks like a star. And the way that they came up and were able to adjust with the double teams. And, State really did nothing in the second half. When the game was won, was early in the third quarter. Michigan came down. They were driving the field goal. Michigan State 3-0. Michigan drives the field, long drive, 54-yard field goal. Felt like the game was over right then. Michigan State 3-out. Like the defense, those first two series, while Michigan was down there, and yeah, you'd like to get a touchdown, the defense rose to the occasion, and that's when that game was won in the third quarter by the Michigan defense. And then the special teams made the big play. And you mentioned that long snapper was going to be, it's never going to be the key to the game until you see that ball going over the guy's head. And that was a gigantic factor in the game, obviously.
Yeah, special teams, man. Bo used to hammer on special teams. But, hey, Oscar said the number one thing is securing the ball. We had one turnover. They had none. So it wasn't a huge factor. Our defense bailed us out there. But then I said we got to stop the run, and we stopped the run. We didn't make them one-dimensional in the first half, but we did in the second half. They got behind. It played into us, what we want to do. And then we were able to run the ball. I mean, I had a feeling the first play of the game, Danny, I told Mick McCabe one time, we were watching a state championship game. I said, Mick, I will tell you who's going to win this game. Give me 3 plays. I'll tell you who's going to win this game. And this one team, I know they're really well coached. They come off the ball low. And I said, that team is going to win. Because I could tell already that team was playing high. They didn't have they couldn't play. They didn't have the physicality. But first play of the game, we knock them 6-8 yards off the ball. We just run a basic inside zone play, and we're moving the football against that well-coached defensive line front. So, but then we ran the ball and they didn't, and that's really what the biggest factor in that game.
I hear the son of Swami used to pick against you all the time when you were a head coach. So I'm surprised.
Well, he might have. Well, that wasn't hard if he was going to picking Marine City. They didn't lose too often, but. Yeah, I told Mick one time, I said, watch this game. I'll tell you in 3 plays. He looked at me and sure enough, I was right. I said, I could tell that you could tell at the line of scrimmage, Danny, the line of scrimmage, that tells you who's going to win in most cases.
All right, let's get to Rutgers. What's your thoughts on the Scarlet Knights as Michigan prepares to go to Piscataway for a night game out there?
All right, I got a couple more things on my notes but one thing, Danny, about this Michigan State game, I thought both defensive coaches really adjusted based on what we saw last year. Last year, neither defense could stop anybody. and I thought both defensive coaches were better. I hope this game impacts Midwest recruiting and in-state recruiting. So I always think that the Michigan State game is big for in-state recruiting, and I'll transition to Rutgers here now too. The Rutgers game from a recruiting standpoint, we've done real well in New Jersey, Massachusetts. So this game is another game. We want to hammer them. We want to beat them good. We want all those kids in New Jersey to know, you want to win a championship, you come to Michigan. You want to go, 3-9, you go play for Rutgers. Anyway, this is a night game at Rutgers. They're coming off a 30-point blowout. They played a backup quarterback. They playing a young. I'm wondering if Schiano is already playing for the future, because he's hardly playing that older kid, and he's playing the young guy. So when that happens, often that means that the coach is basically saying, you know what, I'm going to just play for the future, because the kid that gave us trouble last year is hardly played against Minnesota, but he's healthy and they're playing the young guy. But look, it's a night game. They just come off a blowout. You just don't ever know what's going to happen. So but if we do the things and secure the football and play smart like we've been playing, but you sure as heck can't take them lightly, because they're going to be a pissed off team coming off a big loss and a blowout, embarrassing loss. Those kids have some pride. They're going to, Michigan coming in, a lot of Michigan fans in that area. Yeah. But we got to defend the quarterback run, because they'll run it. They like to run that. And, he defended us good last year. I mean, I think the score was like 27-21 or 24-20. It was a pretty close game because they defended us pretty good. And we had a rough time moving the ball again. We had a rough time moving the ball. And so it looks like we should be in good shape, but you better get your mind right.
Michigan didn't score in the second half against Rutgers last year after putting up 20 points in the first half, and they had 4 3-and-outs in the second half and had to hang on to win that game 20-13. So, yeah, they gave them fits last year. It's a great trip for Michigan fans. You wouldn't think so. Like, wow, Piscataway, that doesn't look like the greatest town. And it might not be, but what I hear, and I haven't done the trip myself, is that you go in and everybody the night before heads to Manhattan. And apparently, there's a lot of nightlife going on in New York City. And, you can paint the town, whoa, I guess, and have a great time there, then go into, but heck, with a night game, I don't know, that gives you all day to recuperate, to get out there for a Saturday night. So it sounds like a fun trip. One of these times I'm going to have to make it and get out there. All right, Star, that's some good stuff. You picked Oklahoma, and I was telling people all week long, don't pick Oklahoma and Texas and USC and UCLA anymore, because these refs, because they're leaving their conferences, are being completely biased against them, which is tainting referees everywhere, but they don't care. And then you said you're taking Oklahoma against Iowa State, and it was the right pick because you won again.
Yeah, I liked Oklahoma. They had their quarterback back. I saw Iowa State play early in the year, and they didn't look like they really – I know they played good defense, but I didn't think they were going to score enough, and that's how it played out. And the Oklahoma can score points, so I thought it was a good pick. I like Indiana. I like Michigan State. I don't know who's going to be suspended though. 16 points is a lot of points going to Illinois, because I think athletically, talent-wise, they have every bit as much talent as Illinois, maybe more. But I don't know who's going to be suspended or what. So I'm going Indiana though, getting 13.5 at home against Penn State. I like Tom Allen on defense, and that's where I'm at on that.
All right. How about we get to some play analysis from Saturday night?
All right, Danny, are we shared up here?
I can add it anytime you want me to go to it.
Are you there?
It disappeared for a second, so take your time and go through it.
How are we looking now? We're not there?
I don't see it. I'm always ready to run something at the line, Scar, because if it doesn't come through here, I'm available all week for you to come on and have it ready. So if you don't have it now, you can show up anytime this week, and we can also do it. So there it is. I see it. You ready for me to put that up?
Okay, we ready to roll? Okay, here we go.
All right, there you go.
All right. This again, what did I tell you, Denny? Okay, this is 3rd and 1. Okay, I wish I had the first play of the game, but this is 3rd and 1, and we get look at the movement, man. This is what you want to see. We're moving dudes. It sets the tone, and there we go. 1st down. Let's just take another look real quick. Our center, our right guard, moving guys right in here, and then Corum. What a tough kid. Solid. 1st down, movement, technique. Okay, secure the ball. I just got this play in here. We talk about the importance of securing the football, and we've been real good at it. So, again, we've been running this play, and Michigan State just did a good job. We've been running power over here and make it look like power, right? Like we're going to pull kick out, and it looks like that. We got the running back balls in the mesh point, but now we're going to throw it over here, and we've shown it. But their defense, they did a good job defending our bubbles. Look how quick they come up and react. They strip the ball, and their coaches do a good job teaching that. And this kid comes in and strips the ball, and we work on it as coaches, and their kid did it, man. I mean, it's coaching. And Kojo's got to do a better job of securing the ball, and it's discouraging, but our defense bails us out. And we do these drills daily, Denny, and this kid did it for Michigan State. Kojo's got 2 hands there for a second.
Yeah.
He's got 2 hands on it, and he's got to learn from it. And we do it as coaches. We do it. We rep the heck out of it. Let's go to the next play here.
Yeah, what more? He had 2 hands on it. Just keep the 2 hands on it and make sure you're.
Yeah. You just got to. You got to be stronger and work on it and keep 2 hands on it, man. Because there's some big, strong linebacker. This was a great play, man. And I told you these 2 dudes right here are the best in the conference. This Jenkins right here and this Mozzie right here. Okay, Jenkins is playing a 4 technique. Then he's on the inside eye of this tackle, but he's responsible for the B gap. Mozzie's in here, and he's playing in the A gap. Okay, and they try to get this guard on a linebacker. They should have doubled on Jenkins here, but he makes the play. Both of them are just stuffing their dude. Look at Mozzie. Remember I talked about playing on their side of the line of scrimmage? Look what Mozzie does to that kid. He stuffs him backwards. And look at Jenkins. But look at Mozzie now. He's playing, and he's going to drive this kid back. Jenkins is playing here, driving this kid back. We're trying to play on their side of the line of scrimmage. And they together, they made that play. Those 2 players made that play. Huge play. Huge play. And here's Jenkins right here. I just love seeing it, man. Celebrate, big fella, because you had a great play. You and this other big guy right here. That was just great Michigan team flat wall defense. And they're short.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that play, Denny?
Yeah. Well, we talk about making plays down in the red zone. Talk about making big plays at big times. That's the 4th down stuffs in the first half. Were huge in this game. We're going to be
huge.
Honest.
And I just showed you earlier, though, how we converted 3rd and 1, and we moved guys. No, that's coaching. That's Ben Herbertson. That's weight room, and that's technique, and that's all. That stuff is coached. And here we go. Now, here's the first. You talked about this. Here's Donovan Edwards, and there's this big linebacker. He's a 250-pound, 40-pound kid. Let's see, where's he at? Spread the formation. Let's get him out here defending. Let's play in space. Let's get him in space.
Yeah.
And now we'll put our fast guy. What kind of coverage are they in? Maybe we knew they were in man. Our coaches knew it. This stuff isn't by accident. Our coaches wanted to spread it. They knew what they might see by how they're lined up, man coverage. All right, Donovan, take a side. JJ, just like playing in the backyard, man.
That's hard to defend. I mean, I don't know if there's a linebacker in the country. I mean, what do you do there? There's nobody else around there for any help.
It's not. Listen, Georgia did that against us. Smart coaches do that. You've put salt on the wound, Danny. Where's the mismatch? Now, this is not we let this kid get penetration here. We got to do and this is one of only a few mistakes our offensive line made all day. But this is Keegan here. He's got to get flatter. It's tough. because now you're going to see penetration by this kid, and now Scooney can't come over and kick this other guy out. So the penetration just blows the whole play up. We show jet motion, and we try to run that ball in there, but the penetration, again, Keegan's got to try to cut this kid off, and it's just a good play by them. Sometimes you put you put these guys in a tough predicament. You ask them to cut off a guy who's in an inside gap. Denny, sometimes it's a tough ask. Coaches, you can't blame a kid when you ask a kid to do something. Sometimes it's really hard to do. So that was a lot of that is on the coaching too. So let's look at the next play I had. Anyway, we settle for a field goal down here.
Yeah.
And then there's Mr. Money there, All-American kicker, kicking the one of many field goals. Okay, what's the next play we have here? 1st and 10. They got the ball. Athletic QB. Now we're rushing 5. I just want to point out something that I did as a coach. I'm sure these guys think about it, but there's always a gap. There's still an extra gap. Even though we rush 5, now there's one extra gap. I used to like to have my nose guard bull rush, Denny, where he just takes this guy and just push him right back and try to 2-gap him. Meaning I want you to take this gap or this gap if the quarterback steps up in the pocket. Mozzie takes a side. This is probably how they coach it. I used to like the 2-gap, but let's see what happens here. And they pick up a first down. See, Mozzie takes a side there. He steps up in the pocket. And, it's just a weakness of the defense. There's nobody at fault here. There's no one to blame here. We're bringing 5. There's 6 gaps. And Junior does the best he can. Kid can run. He's a heck of a football player, Junior. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying about that 2-gap technique?
Sure. Like if he would have picked the other side, he would have ran to the other side.
Yeah, or at least try to make it more difficult. Again, this is something we want to, the analysts want to blame Green down here, but this kid's a hell of an athlete. He's 6'4". He's a basketball player. Everybody looks for that kid. Anyway, I thought our safety should have helped here. Okay, we can't coach height. The most important play is the most important play is the next one, because in no way, shape, or form am I going to yell at this kid after this play. No way, because I thought his coverage, he is right there. He's right there. He goes up with him. The kid's just a taller, bigger kid. So I can't yell at the kid for not being 6'4". But I do think that our safety should have been over there to help him, because I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing looking in here. I don't know what's in there. Okay, get over here and help. What are you doing? I don't understand that. But they want to blame this kid, and I think our safety should have been over there to help. That's just my thought on what I believe that coverage was. And now here we go again. This is 2nd and 4, but this is got to be mentally tough. Coaches must adjust as the game goes on. When they got 3 dudes out here, Denny, a lot of teams will try to do this. They say, we'll put 3 receivers into the sideline, make you put 3 defenders in there, and then we'll put our best kid and let's give him all this field out here, and you got a guy out there. So now we got our best guy with all this field over here. Okay, and I thought we should have adjusted even more by having him cheat, but we really didn't do it yet. We do it in the second half, but we didn't do it. We didn't do it earlier enough. Coach, you can't wait. You can't wait sometimes. You got to make an adjustment. The kid's a big kid. He's a good athlete. So I put that on coaching just as much as I put it on the player. You understand?
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned, Coleman's a good player. A lot of people thought a little bit of a push off. And like I was saying, those happen almost on every play. I would bet Klink, is talking about Green maybe turning his head a little bit there, locating the football. But what the hell do I know?
No, you're right. But I thought he went up, and the kid just jumped right over him. How can you get after your player for that? But the thing I think I would have, if I'm the coach there, and Jim has to see how the game is being officiated. If they're going to allow a lot of that offensive push, a lot of that kind of stuff, then, maybe you got to say, look, okay, we're going to play more aggressive and defensively too. Or you'll see a play that, one of them, that touchdown Scooney dropped. I thought he could have got away with pushing on that linebacker the way they pushed on our guy. Anyway, here we go. Again, where's Walt? Where's number 4? Here he is. What's the down and distance? 2nd and 10. Okay, now we're going to put our tight end here. We're going to find him. We're going to exploit this kid. Salt on the wound. What are we doing? Now we got the tight end. 4 is a little late to the game. Easy money, man.
Yeah.
That's coaching. Where's number 4? Make him pay. You want to put a 260-pound linebacker in there? We're going to make you pay. Our guy's the better athlete than that kid. So that's a great deal there. Coaching. This is the stuff why I think our offense is better. We can't coach it. Let's take a look at JJ stepping up in the pocket. It's 1st and 10. Nothing. The end over rushes, but his athletic ability to avoid this pressure. Keegan gets him, or that's Keegan. He comes out a little bit late, gets enough. JJ steps up, athletic ability, throws a nice pass to our tight end. Can't coach some of that speed, man. All right, here we go, Denny. This is the creative stuff now. Okay. This right here created a bunch of problems for Michigan State. All right. New for MSU. Shifting, headaches, jet pass to MSU pass to number 2. Number 2 is here. I can't get the beginning of this formation, but he started out way over here. And then he motioned, or he shifted. But anyway, you're going to see how confused these 4 Michigan State players are, because we haven't shown this. We have not shown it. We probably were working on it for weeks, but let's let it run through. It's all about creating confusion. We're on the goal line, 3rd and goal, right? Red zone offense. Joel talked about getting cute, right? Don't get cute. Well, this is getting cute. This is getting creative. So is he right or wrong here? This is now the opposite of what you're saying, Joel, because this is getting cute. Shifting, motions. We haven't run this play. We haven't run jet sweep to Corum. Here's Corum now, and we get him miss the line. But look at the Michigan State. Look at those 4 guys, how confused they are. They're running around. They don't know. They don't know what to do. They don't look at them. Look, where are we going? What are we doing? Where are we going? This guy's going to go all the way over here now. Now he's going to run all the way over here. That's confusion. Okay. That's coaching. So that's but then again, if they would have made a mental mistake, then you're going to blame, who are you going to blame then? You know what I mean, Danny?
It's about a player, a 44 there, that defensive end that was lined up in with 2 hands in the ground. A little interesting, but if he makes that play, you're saying Michigan's getting too cute there.
Well, yeah. And at the same time though, where'd I go? But at the same time, we threw so much confusion at them, and they always bank on this. We always bank on our running back being able to outrun a big 300-pound defensive tackle. You know what I mean? So we don't block this. We don't block this kid because we don't think he's going to make the play. That's part of the thinking. And when they run that play, that those guys shouldn't be able to make the play. Some of this stuff, this kid just got away with so much pushing. This is 0 here. And I think Mel is over. This referee, I think he's intimidated by old Mel over here. And again, he watched this play here. He just pushes off on Johnson here, or on who is that? Kurt. He just
Turner.
Yeah, he just pushed off. He was pushing off all day, and I thought the referees were intimidated a little bit. And here's Thorne making plays, man. This kid, and here we go to 0 again. He's a good player, man. We got to deal with him next year, too. He ain't going nowhere. This guy right here. Okay, here's a huge stop. Here's 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3.
Yeah, another play of the game here coming up.
This is a huge play, but this is a huge play here to give us a chance. 94 again. Jenkins again. Flat wall. And this guy here, this is Page. He sticks his nose in there. But again, watch Jenkins moves, because he's the guy that makes the play. Because the guy's trying to run Jenkins's gap, and Jenkins takes this big tackle and stuffs him and comes off and makes the play in his gap. He did fall forward a little bit, but just a great play. Everybody's in their gap. The ends are in, he's in his gap, and the page is stepping up. So now we got a chance. Okay, we got a chance. It's 4th down. And let's see. Let's make
Wait, Scar, why don't they just run that same play here on 4th down? Because
we're going to adjust. We're going to adjust. We're going to do something different. We're going to put more players there. Or okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. They did, because they did pick up, but we're going to have even more defense committed to stopping the run on 4th and 1 than we would 3rd and 3. You understand?
Sure.
4th and 1 is a whole nother deal than 3rd and 3.
Right.
You commit way more people to run. You probably bring another defensive lineman in the game. You change personnel. So anyway,
is that Coleman up there? 0. He looks like he's got turned. I would have thrown it to him if I was the offensive coordinator there.
You would have thrown it on 4th and 1?
Right, thrown it right to him. That's right.
Well, then the Spartan fans would be saying, "Why are you throwing it on 4th and 1?"
You're right. Well, you're right.
Anyway,
because this is game. I'm going to go to my player that's making the most plays.
Yeah, I get you. It's a good thought. Well, there you go. Anyway, here's number 94 again. This whole defense, we're adjusted really good to their formation. I like how we're adjusted. They got guys here. We got guys here. And split second to react. Smart players. This guy here has to react quickly. This guy here, watch how fast he has to react. M defense, prepared, adjustment, coaching. This is smart. We've adjusted well here. And now let's see what they do, and let's see how fast we adjust. So they put a guy in motion, and bam, we adjust. And now we get a guy in the backfield. We get Jenkins again making a play. This whole defensive, our right side of the defense, getting penetration. Done. No, ain't nothing happening on that play.
Very impressive.
But like again, what I really like are these two guys. Look how this is coaching, man. These are smart dudes right here. How fast this motion right there meant. Look what it meant. You had to adjust, and you literally got a split second to make that decision. So that's great coaching. Celebrate, young fella. Good job. Let's get to the next play. Again, start of a great drive. Here we go. Number 2, baby. Heisman Trophy. I just wanted to put this play in here. We get movement up here. 1st and 10. They're playing run. Ain't nothing there. He bounces it out, makes a guy miss, makes other guys miss, dragging them, offensive line. And how about Mel? How you feel when you're looking at this? How you feel when you're looking at that? That ain't fun.
No. You feel like you want to attack the players in the tunnel.
That's right. Okay, this is why I think our offense is better. This stuff is not predetermined. It's 1st and 10. We're going to throw the football. Nothing there. They're rushing 5. That's a predetermined run. Or no, that is not predetermined. I mean, he just sees it. He feels the pressure. And he feels the pressure, and he makes something happen. He picks up 10. 15, 20. Good job. Get down, man. You're too valuable. Can't coach that stuff. Again, more JJ. This is why I think our offense is better. JJ, nightmares for Tuck. Again, here's more pressure. Nobody's open. He steps up, makes this guy miss.
Yeah.
Get down. There you go. You're too valuable.
Impressive.
What do we got here? This is coverage. Here's 3rd and 3. Here's Sanistral. Great technique, athletic ability. Drive. Get your hand out there. Just enough. Strips it. Great job, 0. Sanistral. Athletic. He's doing a great job on defense. That kid's. Where am I at here? All right, here we go. This is. I'm trying to figure out what was going on here. Okay, I think it was the offense. Sometimes, Denny, when you're punting the ball, teams will do this. You're going to try to create like there's a cadence and pump fake. Oh, no, hang on. Where am I at here? Yeah. And he's going to clap. This guy's going to clap. And is that why we jumped off sides? Because he's clapping. This guy right here, you'll see him clap. And sometimes you'll get a punt return team that's dumb enough to react to that, because a punt team doesn't go on a cadence like an offense. You understand? There's not hit, set, hut. There's none of that. The long snapper snaps it when he's ready to snap it. Okay, so I don't know if that's why we jumped off sides, because we're listening to this guy. We shouldn't be listening to anybody. We should be watching the ball. Or I know Jay Harbaugh tries to do a lot of things. Are we trying to get cute and fool ourselves? Because sometimes you'll see that we're running around a lot of times, shifting and moving to try to get the punt protection team to react. So I was trying to figure out why we end up off sides, but I think it's that we react to this kid's clap. But look at, I guess I have to run it back. Let's see if you can see all the movement. They don't really show it.
Yeah. Two guys jumped there.
Yeah, they don't show it, but we had a lot of pre-snap movement, and I don't know if that. Anyway, we got to be smarter. Here's 3 edge players, 90 and 58 get pressure. It's 2nd and 14. Now we got them. We got them throwing a little more, thinking got them where we want them. Nice move by Morris. That's one of the only times we got pressure on this kid. MSU, I thought this was a poor adjustment. Danny, this is what I look for from an offensive coach and a defensive coach. This was one of the few times that I thought we had an advantage. I don't think they're lined up properly. We got a lot of people here. We got easy blocks, and this was one of the few times I thought Michigan State did not line up really well. It's an easy 15 yards. Corum makes the guy miss here, but you're going to ask this kid to come all the way down and force a play, and that was one of the few times I thought they didn't line up real well, because I was impressed with their defensive coach in terms of lining up. Number 2, something out of nothing. Again, we get some movement here, but number 2 finds a way to make some more happen. Let's take a look.
3rd and 4, running it right up the middle.
Yeah, but look where he's hit. It's 3rd and 4, right, Denny? We need a first down. If he doesn't make this, where's the ball? We're probably going to go for it anyway. But he's hit here, and he drags these dudes. This guy should have pulled him back instead of hitting him forward. But anyway, that's the impressive stuff. Okay, here we go. We talk about the game is now 16-7, so they got the ball, and it's 3rd and 6. So this is what I was hoping for a little earlier, but we do it. We do adjust. Coaches adjust. We're going to put 19. We're going to say, okay, this is 0 out here. We're going to help this guy. We're not going to let him keep throwing prayers to this kid and let him get away with the push off. So we got Rod Moore here, and he's going to cheat a little more this way. And now he knows that this kid can make plays. He's right there. We should have made him pay with an interception. But anyway, that's coach's adjustment, and good job by Moore. And here, this is a good job by Jay. Good job by our protection. A real small window, and he still finds a way, JJ, to get it into
Bell.
Get it in there to Ronnie Bell, because he's got to throw it over these linebackers, Denny. This ain't easy. He's got to throw it over top of the linebackers in that small window, and just want to point that out, because people are saying JJ, he didn't have a good day throwing. I thought he threw the ball good enough. MSU, good pass pro. We didn't rush this team as good as I would have liked. We just didn't get much pressure on it. I give these guys credit. They defended us. Our pass rush was not very good, and we're bringing bodies in there, and we still don't get home. But they throw it. We defend it, but we got to rush the quarterback better.
All right.
This is why I think he's our MVP of this game. Here's JJ again. He's Scar's MVP on offense. Let's see here. 2nd and 11. Things break down. Look at this. He's in a box. There's nothing there.
First down.
And then look at the little things here. I see Corum. Corum is smart enough to wheel back and get a block. And let's see who this is. He doesn't clip him. I think this is Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
He doesn't clip this guy. He could have clipped him, and he doesn't. He's smart. Smart coaching, smart players. Don't clip, don't hold, get the first down. That's why that's the difference in our offense right there.
Yeah,
here we go. We're showing 9. Okay, Danny, I was a long snapper in high school, and I've coached long snappers, and the kid had a snap. Earlier, he had a snap that was kind of high, right? Remember that one?
Yeah, the series before, I think.
The series before. Okay, so now what's this kid thinking? 9 up. They got 9 up. He knows it. He hears these guys talking. about the protection. So now he's starting to choke a little more, right? 9 up, 110,000, national TV, mental toughness. How mentally tough are you, kid? It's one thing to do it in practice. Now he's the backup long snapper. You win with the kicking game, right? Isn't that what Scar's always saying?
That's right.
So let's take a look. All those things are going through this kid's head, and he fires it. He fires it too high. Good job, Michigan. So I just want to point that out. All those little things play into the mindset of that athlete. How about this was a great job by Hayes here. He's gonna block down on one guy, block out on another guy, and block 3 guys on one. And this is just smart how quick he reacts to all 3 of it. Watch him. He's got to block down to secure that guy's not blocking out or slanting out. Make sure that defensive lineman is not slanting out. He's got to secure that. He checks it, bounces out on the defensive tackle or defensive end. Then he comes off on a linebacker. Just little things that people don't always see. They want to give this guy all the credit, but there's some smart dudes doing a good job up front.
Yeah, we call this the kill shot.
Yeah.
That's the ball game there.
Good stuff there. Tough run number 7. This is the stuff we want to get more of from Donovan. 2nd and 7, inside run. He's hit and he's dragging dudes. Good job, 7. We want to see more of that. Too deep. This is the play that irritated me when Todd Blackledge wants to yell at this linebacker for not covering this dude. Okay, so if they run the football, Denny, if they run the football right in here, he's responsible. Okay, so he can't just run out here and cover this guy. We had a breakdown here, I think, here at the safety position again, and he wants to yell at this guy. So I'm defending Junior and saying, I think I understand what Michigan's doing here. They're playing too deep. He's got to recognize read run, and then react late to this, but he should be getting safety help. And he's not getting it, and it's a breakdown. This is a mental breakdown by our defense. Because we're just not. It's a mental breakdown. I guarantee you, they're not going to ask a linebacker to defend. They're not going to ask a linebacker to defend this gap and at the same time cover this guy if he goes here. That's impossible.
Yeah, well, this would look to be the only letdown that they had in the second half.
Yeah, and it's a mental breakdown. It's not a great play. They got us. We had a defensive scheme in there, and I probably would put that on Sanistrol since he was the safety over there.
All right.
So let's take a look. What's coming up next? We got about 4 more plays, and we're done here. Coaching discipline. Okay, let's look at the next play because this is our guy, coaches. This stuff isn't by accident. There you go. The Michigan guy doesn't do it. The Michigan guy doesn't react. Look at the Michigan State guy. Now, if this kid doesn't have discipline, he's going to hit him back, right? But he doesn't do it. So you got to compliment your coaches for that.
Yeah, and at this point, this is where Tuck's coming to the realization that the game is over.
Yeah. Here's Rocket Rod Moore to the rescue. We got him 2nd and 10. And this is good to see. Actually, they did have a turnover here then. I forgot they did have this turnover. And good job. Let's get a block. Everybody get a block. Find somebody. Good job. Mullings there. Get a block. Don't clip. Celebrate, baby. This is what I like to see. Celebrate as a team. Love it. Go blue. This is what we want. We're taking the picture. What do they call that, Denny?
Turnover buffs.
There you go. Take your picture. Celebrate as a team. We're not sticking it in their face. We're not pointing at anybody. We're having fun as a defense, as a team. That's Michigan right there. Last play. What the heck happened here? What do I got here? Oh, this is 3rd and 10. I think I had it in there because, again, I've had guys question why I'm throwing 3rd and 10, right? And then they want to go onside kick then after. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well,
But it's a great win. I'd like to see more guys play, Denny. I'd like to see more. We're playing 6 edge guys. We're playing only 4 defensive interior guys. Hopefully against Rutgers, we can get up. Hopefully we can get our backup quarterback in the game. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. I think getting a backup quarterback in, seeing more of the wide receivers get involved, sees more downfield passing, see him ringing up some touchdowns in the red zone. Those are things that would all be on the to-do list. But the biggest thing would be getting a W.
There you go, Denny. Get the W, man. We're fired up though. It's a great atmosphere down there. Coach will put everything into perspective and move on to Rutgers.
That was the scar of the telestrator, and very educational, very informative, and also done in an entertaining way. Hey, here he is. Great job, Scar.
All right, Denny. I think we're ready to move on, baby.
All right. For Jim Scarcelli, I'm Dennis Fithian. Thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow here on the Maize and Blue Review. Good afternoon.